Actually, you hear the gunshots because that's what it calls for, and because it's a wonderful day to be a Sixers fan, Ty. I don't know, man. I was waiting all week to do this show with you because there's a lot of things to talk about, and I don't know. I've been watching replays of the game every morning and just touching myself because I'm so happy about how we got here, and yeah, it's a good day to be a Sixers fan. How you feeling?
Oh, I'm feeling marvelous, spectageous. I mean, well, I don't know. I gotta make up words for how I'm feeling right now, man. To be honest,
And
I guess I'm feeling like a Bucks fan, like last year.
yeah, like last year,
a little bit unstoppable.
Like a kid on Christmas.
Just wake me up in the East Conference Finals. That's kind of how I'm feeling.
Talk about it.
Wake me up.
Yeah, we're gonna. Yeah, this is a Sixers edition episode of Stuff About Sports. Bert is out handling business, and when Bert's away, Jerm and Ty come out to play, and we're doing nothing but Philadelphia 76ers because it's our time now. So let's talk about Sixers.
Sixers.
4. Oh yeah. Oh man, I messed it up. Yeah, Sixers. Oh, you're right, man. I messed it up, man. Is that guy? Yeah, that's me. That's me. I messed up today. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Stuff About Sports. Do not change your dial. The colors are switched up, but the vibes are immaculate. And it is Jerm, the Facebook felon, and there is King Ty Chala, aka Yella Mandela. Ty is in the building with me today. What's up, man?
Hey man, I'm just blessed to be here. I can't it's hard to fill in for the prettier Corey, aka Bert, but I'm gonna try my best, man. I'm trying my best.
Inside joke, friend of the show. Shout out to Frank Novick. Bert's on a cruise. Listen back to a couple shows, and that's actually very, very funny. Round of applause to you, Frank.
Man, I don't even know the inside joke.
That's what we call a callback. There was a show we did a couple weeks ago. I believe it was the Super Show that we had done with the Divide, and we were talking about places that you can go to have an affair because we were talking about the Cowboys fan that got caught.
I do remember this conversation in the group chat. I do remember,
and we've settled that the cruise was the best place to do it. The only hard part is finding the lie of how you could be away for that long. But if you're a person like Bert who goes away on business for weeks on end, I mean, that's, you could get away with it. Not that he would, because he's an excellent husband and respects ladies and respects his wife. And his wife is awesome, and she would eat his soul. So anyway, Ty, listen, let's get right on to it. I wish I had sad violin music, but all week everybody's been hitting me up. I've been showing my love for James Harden on the social media circles, and everybody's been calling me out saying I was just shitting on James Harden last week, and I was denying it because I said you ain't got no proof. I scrubbed my social media. The moment the trade was made, I went back. I said, all right, find everything. I typed search James Harden, and I went on it. Took me about an hour and a half to delete everything. It was a lot. It was flagrant, and I'm sorry.
We still got records because we got text messages. We got records.
Oh, we do.
You was going hard. You was going real hard in these streets, man. And I'm glad you come to the light. You had to see it on the court. I was feeling the same way. I had to see it on the court, but you was dogging Harden, man. And a lot of people was trying to do this, we'll see what happens in the playoffs and all this other stuff. And it's like, all right, we shall see. But you're watching it right now. You're watching 2 games. Harden has not played with anybody like this, like Embiid. So come on, man, come on.
Yeah, listen. I'll go on record. Harden's on the team now, so what am I going to do? Boo him? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. I don't have to be a fan of him to enjoy success. I don't doubt that Harden's a good player, but here's some things to keep in context. Okay, I'm fraudulent. So I'm just rooting for him. That's the main thing. That's the main thing. I'm a fraud. And you know what? He's on the team now. And so what? I talk shit about him. Fuck you guys. All right. He's on the Sixers now. And all you people jumping in my mentioning me, talking about I'm not allowed to cheer for the Sixers. Yeah, fuck off. Go Sixers, go James Harden. He's the best player that I've ever seen do it. And there's nothing you could do about it. So yeah. All right. So the Harden era begins, Ty. Talk to me about the Timberwolves game, right? He sat out, I believe he sat out the Celtics game, or he sat out a game of the Bucks game. He sat out the Bucks game about a week and a half after he got traded. And made his debut against Minnesota, and then they played the Knicks. So talk to me about what you saw from James Harden specifically. What were your concerns heading into the game, and how quickly did he kind of just alleviate any concerns you had about him fitting in with this team?
So, I mean, by far the biggest thing I was concerned about was defense. Like, and that's the only thing I would have to say I could apologize to him for, because I'm hard. I mean, everybody's been hard on Harden. All the clips you see of him, like, not getting back on defense is so frustrating. So, like, when we made a trade, my wife is like, "You getting a Harden jersey?" I said, "Hell no, I'm not getting a Harden jersey. I gotta watch him on the court, because if I watch this guy stand around while Embiid's chasing down the block, I'm gonna be pissed off. And I'm like, want to throw his jersey, take his jersey off. So if I see that, I'm gonna be pissed. I have not seen it yet. It's only been 2 games, and we haven't been down or anything, but that's what I was worried about. And we didn't see that. Like, he was active on defense, got some steals and whatnot. I mean, I know that's just playing in passing lanes, very AI-esque. Like, he's not a great on-ball defender, but he's active and he's hustling. And this is what I was saying to you in our chat, in our text messages, was like, I think that he will play good defense just because of the atmosphere, just because of the team, just because of Doc Rivers and just how we play. I think Harden on other teams, I don't think they had that same kind of the leadership on the court and Embiid, and leadership from the coaching position as we have in Doc Rivers. So that's what I was worried about, was a defense, seeing him with all the guys and mixed around a bunch of great defenders and Thibault and Embiid and even Danny Green and people like that. Tobias Harris is serviceable. I think him playing in a mix of that, you've seen that we still played very good defense, and he wasn't a liability in that aspect. So I'm not worried about anything anymore, to be honest with you, man. Outside of these other teams are good as well. Like, these other teams are good in terms of the Nets once they're healthy, the Heat, the Bulls. Be honest, I'm not worried about him anymore. But that's what I'm worried about. In terms of our team, though, I think we have the pieces, man. It's really fitting and it's working.
Yeah, I loved it. I was on Justin's show. Shout out to Justin Marvell from This Just In, and I'm a big Tobias Harris fan. Everybody knows it, and the one thing that I really liked about this team, and we haven't blown our load yet, because Tobias Harris hasn't technically played up to his standard. He was plus 22 in the Knicks game, and he didn't score any points in the first half. He ended up with like 12 points and like 5 or 6 rebounds. He's a 20-point scorer. He's a good player. He'll figure it out. That encouraged me. It said, wow, we were beating teams. Yes, it's the Timberwolves. Yes, it's the New York Knicks. But we were beating teams 15 plus points without Tobias Harris playing particularly well up to his standard. Once we unlock that, it is over. It is over. James Harden doesn't have to be a great on-ball defender, because one, we play pretty much team defense, and Matisse Thybulle takes the best guy. And so James Harden also doesn't have to follow the guy all the way into the rack. He can drop off. Matisse or Tobias or Joel are 3 better defenders, will pick up that slack. And that's where you get 4 steals from James Harden against the Knicks. You can contribute in other ways. Like I said, Tobias Harris is going to figure it out. He's too good not to. Once that happens, and I know James Harden had a quote saying that he wanted Tobias to shoot it as soon as he gets it. Like, stop, pump faking and doing these things. Like, that's the one thing I liked about James Harden, that you've heard from his other stops, but to see it with your team and to see how more engaged he was, like, he was coaching Maxey before he even played. Like, he was
exactly.
It's awesome to have a guy like that. So, hey, people, the criticism is fair, because I've given those criticisms. Yeah, you got to see it in the playoffs because he hasn't made it. But James Harden and Joel Embiid haven't had each other in the playoffs, right?
Harden has played hard in the playoffs, and he was winning. He got beat by better teams. Got beat by the Warriors. Come on, man.
But what I'm saying, but that's what I'm saying. Like Harden didn't have a Joel Embiid.
7. He played very hard in the playoffs, and I think that season he was like that was the first season you actually seen him play defense because he started playing defense once it got like serious for him. And I think the knocks on him are really unjustified, to be honest.
Yeah, I look back on it. He had to do everything on offense, so I can understand why the defensive was lacking a little bit. But again, Harden never had a guy like Joel Embiid, and Joel Embiid's never had a ball handler like Harden. The pick and the criticism of Joel Embiid not being able to roll in the pick and roll, he couldn't pick and roll. He couldn't roll because Ben Simmons isn't a threat to shoot, so he had to pop every time. And so that criticism that he couldn't do that was, to me, that was crazy. Joel Embiid can do anything he wants. He's the best player in the NBA right now, and he showed it. He's a 7 foot, 200 plus, 50 plus pound Kobe Bryant out there. He, the things that he does, like all these idiots out there talking about Nikola Jokic. Nikola Jokic, the guy who didn't play any minutes in the fourth quarter of the All-Star game, somehow is the MVP of the league. Enough. The guy, I mean, he can shoot the ball, great, but there's nobody picking him over Embiid in any type of draft.
I think there's some people that would.
Mike says, yeah, in Denver. Never heard Carl Powers complain about Harden. The New York media pushed Harden out towards the end. I mean, here's the thing you have to understand about that. There's a couple things that went wrong in Brooklyn for James Harden. One, he didn't want to really be there. When Daryl Morey left Houston and went to Philly, that's where James wanted to go. That's when he demanded the trade. But the ownership of Houston was definitely not going to trade Harden to where Daryl Morey went, because Daryl Morey and Houston front office left on bad terms. So it wasn't, there was no way of him getting to Philly from Houston directly. So he ends up going to Brooklyn. All right, cool. I got this many years on my contract. We'll see how it goes. Right. He was going to come to Philly at the end of his contract anyway. Everybody needs to understand that. But when he got to Brooklyn, he said, all right, maybe I can get my ring. I can bring what I learned to Philly and everything will be all right. But what went wrong in Brooklyn was 2 words: Kyrie Irving. And, I mean, let's keep it a buck.
Wrong in Brooklyn.
It is. Let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it a buck, man. Kyrie Irving, James Harden, go back and listen to some of the post-game stuff. Like, he also
so this is what I heard something today that I didn't know about, is when Kyrie was dogging, he said, my boy JR, we went to high school with, he said that Kyrie was dogging Harden in practice, and I didn't hear about that. And if that was the case, and that's I don't really like that. But
so what do you mean, like dogging him, like on the
like he was coming out, he was just coming at him in practice, in terms of, like, I think they're playing even 1-on-1 or something, or he was going at him, maybe he's going at him during a 5-on-5 or something, but just going at him and kind of talking trash and being, I don't know, probably going a little over the top with it. And I don't think that team ever really meshed. And KD isn't that kind of leader, like KD is a great player, like the best player, if not, like, probably. And as soon as the Nets got him, I'm like, oh man, here we go. Like, we're not going to be able to get past these guys. And Durant has gotten less scary with people like Thibault. He's way less scary. He's probably going to drop 35 easily, but I'm not scared of everybody else. But now they have a lot of other pieces on the Nets, so I am worried, because I think they could figure it out better than with Kyrie and Harden. They don't mesh together, man. Like, I don't think that their styles mesh together. Like Maxey. Like, you can't compare Maxey and Kyrie. Maxey don't need the ball.
Right.
And you're seeing how Harden and Maxey play off each other. So, I think that the Nets just didn't work out in terms of the team wasn't really built the right way. And Nash, he should have got the freaking job, man. Like, for real. So, like, how he's even keeping that damn job. Like, oh my God.
Talk about it. Hey,
annoying, man.
Hey, talk about it, man. Listen,
he's like, he can't coach that team.
Yeah, that's a bad gig for your first job. Nash would have been better served going to like a Sacramento or a team with some young players that can start over, that he can run along with. But when you have a team that has Kevin Durant on it, Kyrie Irving, and then James Harden, you add James Harden to it. That's a tough thing to kind of start your coaching career with. But trouble was already in paradise the moment that Kyrie said, "Oh, we don't need a coach. Oh, we don't really need James Harden, but it's nice to have him." Like, shit like that. You know what I mean? Like, it started bad. And so, when it's just too much personality. And I think it would have been fine if Kyrie just wasn't on his nut shit. The bubble came and he was like, "Oh, we shouldn't be in the bubble. We should bubble ourselves underground and wait for this vaccine or the COVID to go away and fucking go in these Indian reservations and eat dirt." And like, he's on that type of shit. You know what I mean? And then so for real, hey, no, I won't chill. That's what he said in my version. And so he, but then, he tries to sabotage the bubble. He tries to get everybody to not play in the bubble, right? But the players are like, "Fuck that, Kyrie. You're making $14 million and I'm the 7th dude off the bench and I need this money. So, go swim in the lake by yourself." And so he finally plays. He comes in, he plays, whatever. Then literally the offseason was like a month and a half. The season just started right back up. He plays for like 2 weeks and then he takes a month and a half off talking about, "Oh, I got to get my mind right." Like, what are you talking about, bro? What are you talking about? Like, you didn't go anywhere in the bubble. Like, you taking a month and a half off of NBA action. Mm-hmm. And so, especially with the team, you're trying to gel and build a championship team. And then you get this COVID stuff. And James Harden probably just looked at this whole thing and was like, "Bro, enough. Oh, no, that's not what happened." They had the bubble, then they had the shortened off season, which led to the elongated this past year, the elongated off season. Then he took the month off when you had extra time off. That's what happened. And either way, then you're doing this whole COVID vaccine, I'm not getting vaccinated type whatever. And now he can't play in half the games. If you want to argue the morality of the rule and the law, whatever, I get it. But at the end of the day, that's the rule. Andrew Wiggins had the same convictions he did, but guess what? Andrew Wiggins said, "I'm trying to win this championship."
That's not the same convictions then, Jamal.
But what I'm saying is, I'm not going to get mad at James Harden. You can feel whatever you want, but bro, we're here to try to win. You understand? Like, you're putting us, whether intentionally or unintentionally, your choice is putting us in a bad spot. We need you to win. You are the 2nd or 3rd best player on this team. And so, it's a bad look. And if I'm sitting from James Harden's point of view, I'm looking at that like, this is not what I came here for. Like, enough.
Absolutely.
Like Kyrie. And so now you get a motivated James Harden here in Philly. Matter of fact, the disaster in Brooklyn benefits us, because I feel like if he came straight from Houston, it wouldn't be the same. He wouldn't have the same,
Okay. I got that.
Motivation to be like, he already looks skinny.
Because you just wasted all that damn time in Brooklyn.
Exactly. And listen, he's 32 years old. He's not. Kevin Durant's 33, 34, still 2nd, 3rd, maybe top 3 best players in the NBA. Like, he could be productive. The window's a little bit shorter, but this team is definitely moving in the right direction in terms of the chemistry. Gelling is happening way faster than I thought. And Frank says that's what he's getting paid to do. I'm assuming you're talking about Kyrie Irving. Yeah. I mean, that's the other thing. Like, that's what you're getting paid to do, and you're actively choosing to put yourself above the team. And it's like it's an odd thing to do when you have a contract.
He's not getting paid to get vaccines. Like, come on.
Well, no, but I'm saying, but his
he got paid to play basketball, and he should be allowed to. And and the rules don't allow him to. And the rules don't allow him to. But he didn't sign up for that. Period.
Yeah. So yeah, James Harden, we get the benefit. I don't care what anybody says. We won the trade because Ben Simmons is absolutely ducking the Philadelphia 76ers. Back tightness, Ty. Back tightness.
House way. You got the house. You don't have the house way.
I wish I had that. I'm going to add that. I'm going to add that.
How you on the couch? You got a stiff back from laying on the couch. What were you doing? He didn't play the whole damn season. Come on, man.
It's funny because the mental health cleared up super fast, Ty. Listen,
we all knew what it was. We all knew what it was.
I know you're not.
The world knows what it is.
He faked it. I know there's a lot of,
and I know it's not. He didn't fake it. It's partially. It's both sides. He's faked it. He didn't want to. But he really has a mental issue. He really is soft. He really does have mental issues.
Yeah. The fact that if I'm a Brooklyn Nets fan, I'm pissed off. It's bad. It looks like I would, if there's a Brooklyn Nets fan out there, explain to me how you feel. Are you feeling confident that the player you traded for, conned his way out of Philly? First, he cried his way off the team, refused to come in. Then he realized, oh, wow, you're really not going to pay me? Oh, well, I guess I have mental health issues now. And so, oh, damn, now we got to pay you. But I'm not going to tell you who my therapist is. And even though I'm not really going to the therapist, Rich Paul is my therapist, giving me bad advice. And so you get your money, but we're still going to fine you. So you're not really getting all of it. You're going to show up to practice and you're not going to work out with anybody. You're just going to go in the far court by yourself and work on your little drills. And you're going to go home and not talk to anybody and not do anything. You finally get traded. The next day, you're sitting at the court side with the Brooklyn Nets, yucking it up with your teammates. Andre Drummond and Seth Curry don't like you because they got pulled into your madness. And here we go. You're on the court. Oh, crap. We play the Sixers March 10th in 2 weeks. Damn. My back kind of hurts. Shit. Oh, man. Oh. He hasn't even had a full practice yet, bro. Like, it's gross that he is allowed to use mental health as an excuse to get paid by the CBA, one, use it as a way to get off the team and get out of his contract with the team that he signed an extension with, that nobody held a gun to his head, that he signed the extension with. And now he's in Brooklyn, sitting on the bench and not contributing to his team in any way meaningful. After, he said all he wanted was to get off the Sixers. Now that he's off the Sixers, he's still not ready to play. What the hell were you doing? And so, good luck, Nets fans. Frank says he's a Nets fan. Hey, sorry to hear that, buddy. Good luck.
I'm rooting for Simmons a little bit, man. Low key. I'm hoping that he can be, I don't think he can be much more than like a Draymond Green. But I think he can be a serviceable player. And that's what worries me, is that if he does go onto that team and they figure out, and he does play, to his capabilities, because he's good, man. Like, that's why Morey wasn't trying to let go of him for nothing, for just nothing. This guy is an all-star, and he can become one again if he can shake this mess.
Listen, Jared Allen became an all-star this year, so these people getting these all-star nods is not really.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Jared Allen is serviceable. He hustles and he plays good for his position. Simmons is very similar. He's not the best at his position, but man, he puts up really good numbers for his position, and he's one of a kind in terms of his size and how he plays and those kind of things. And we don't know what do we used to say? I mean, just rewind the tape. A year or two ago, we were saying, if he has a jumper, he's unstoppable. Like, everybody's added jumper. He's just because like everything else is there. So, I am a little worried about the Nets because they added some pieces and the Kyrie they're lifting the mandates. Luckily, so.
So here's the thing about that. Apparently, that only applies to fans. It doesn't apply to employees. It only applies to people like visiting. So he could be a fan in Barclays, but he can't play. So the stupid New York rules are once again gonna sabotage the Nets season. I am also rooting for Ben Simmons, Ty. I'm rooting for Ben Simmons to tear his ACLs.
Damn.
Go change your tampon and go sit on the bench, you yellow bastard. All right. I hate Ben Simmons. All right, so now we talked about the Sixers. We talked how glorious the first two games against the Knicks are, the Knicks and Timberwolves. We play the Knicks again tomorrow night, which is going to be a Wednesday, March 2nd. As you look at the team, it is a small sample size. We're probably a little overly excited, but for good reason. It looks good. I don't care about the competition because good teams are supposed to win games and good teams are supposed to beat bad teams by a lot, and that's what we did. We dominated. So people saying it to pump the brakes because it's the Knicks and the Timberwolves. We beat their ass. It wasn't like they were close games. The Knicks made it kind of close and then we pulled away because that's what great teams do. So I've seen what I needed to see. Ty, did you see anything that the Sixers could use?
I feel like we're still stuck at that backup center position. Paul Millsap isn't doing it for me.
No.
you know, for some reason he has a fresh cut, so he kind of looks kind of young, and I'm like, oh man, I seen him. I'm like, yo,
got that new Philly cut, huh?
Yeah, he went and got a Philly barber. He came out. I'm like, yo, you know what? He looks like he's ready, and he just is a body. You know, it doesn't really seem like he's doing much of anything. I would like to see more Isaiah Reed. I like to see us Bassey. I like to see our young guys right now. Like, why are we not giving these guys minutes to kind of see? Because if we can't get somebody serviceable to buy out, you know, we're gonna need to rely on one of these guys probably. Yeah. You know, especially if Millsap were to go down or something. Like right now, I think Doc just likes Millsap because he's a veteran and you can rely on him and whatnot. But you know, you could use something else. And you know, DeAndre Jordan is what's being dangled out there right now. That's, I don't know. I mean, you know, I really don't know how I feel about that. You know, like, do I like him more? I probably do like him more than Isaiah Reed and our young guys and Millsap. So. And now that I'm talking and hearing myself, I think I would prefer DeAndre Jordan right now as our backup center. I think that's what we need, man.
Yeah.
I think everything else is good.
Frank says he wants to make one point about the baseball commissioner caught practicing his golf swing before entering the meeting. It was caught on camera, and they didn't think that's the popular thing to have done. So baseball's fucking up, man. Like, what, do you not care about the fans? Like, how do you? I don't understand why baseball is the only major sports thing, major sports group that has these collective bargaining agreements going to the 11th hour all the damn time. You know when the collective bargaining is up. Why are you waiting until, like, why are these things being not dealt with during the whole process? Why are you waiting to the last minute to work on things? Rob Manfred, man. I mean, we've called him Rob Manfred on this program many times, all over the network. We don't like Rob Manfred. So if this is one thing that can help him move on and get out of baseball so they can stop screwing everything up. And the owners are shrewd, boy. They put out that this was the final best offer they were going to offer, and they made the players look like bad guys here. And that's why opening day is getting canceled, and that's why they're going to lose 2 weeks of the first 2 weeks of the MLB season. It's a mess. Baseball, they can't afford. They're about to be NHL. They're about to move closer. Every year, it seems like they move closer and closer to irrelevancy. He seems to be more interested in his golf swing and the players because there's nothing to be done. The owners they're putting a line in the sand, and they're making the players look like the bad guys, and that's exactly what they're doing. And so Rob Manfred don't give a fuck, man. He's going to keep getting them checks. So. But anyway, back to the Sixers. Yeah, the backup center is probably something we need. I would actually like to add another shooter. I'm actually okay. James Harden, for me, offsets the need for a backup center, an immediate need. Like watching him now with the team, because the way Doc is staggering the minutes, I think he's tried the James Harden and Tyrese Maxey combo and then he had put Embiid with Tobias. I think I would much rather have Harden and Tobias and Tyrese and Joel go together, or some combination of guard and big. Mm-hmm. But James Harden in that pick and roll and having 3 shooters around, you know, whoever, to me, kind of makes a backup center kind of irrelevant. I think I would rather another shooter. I think I would much Kent Bazemore, another 3-and-D guy who could play a little defense and help us out. I like B-ball Paul. I do. I don't like that little reverse dunk he tried to do on a fast break a couple weeks ago. It's probably why we haven't seen him since. He probably knows better than to do that. You know, but I see a lot of people saying DeAndre Jordan's washed, blah, blah, blah. I know a lot of people were making fun that he had that outlet pass he made the other night. And that's what got him waived. I mean, I'm going to say something really unpopular, Ty, and I'm sure you're going to disagree with me. But to me, when I look at Andre Drummond, right, I don't think it's a matter of that he's that good. I just think he's just big, bro. Like these guys, some of these centers out here, or I'm serious. Like, stay with me here. Nah. These guys are just big, and a lot of people just don't want to, like, they make that decision where it's not really worth going for that rebound. So they kind of just let him have it because he's so damn big. And that's why he yaks up a lot of rebounds, because he doesn't really add.
Man.
I mean, I liked him on the Sixers. I liked him a hell of a lot more. I learned
I'll give you that with DeAndre Jordan, but not Andre Drummond.
That's not just Andre Drummond. It's not Andre. It's just those big burly centers in general. Like DeAndre Jordan has muscle, and Andre Drummond is just girth, right? He's just a big boned dude. And I don't think people, especially when they have to go back and play offense, they don't want to go up against that, man. They don't want to bang bodies with him all night. It's like so rebounds that they might have went for, they kind of just don't, depending on where it's at. And he just gets a lot of rebounds, because I don't think people want to just jump up there with him because he's so damn big. So I mean, yeah, it works. Obviously, it's worked for him. Andre Drummond somehow, through the grace of God, made an All NBA team, which floored me. A couple of years ago.
Drummond is
he's all right, man. He's all right. But I mean, that's why also we're not scared of Giannis. Who else they got? I mean, the Nets, Drummond, Embiid has permanent real estate in Drummond's head. So I'm never worried about Drummond. Like, that goes back to the Detroit days. So I'm not really worried about Drummond. I'm not worried about any team in the East. The people were talking about the Heat. Who's going to guard Embiid? Who is now going to? You had the Heat's only advantage was that they could afford to double Embiid and triple Embiid. They can't do that now. I don't care how many switches you do. We have the best two one-on-one get your own basket players in the league, and one of them plays down low and one of them plays up high. What the hell are you going to do? Once Tobias becomes a better catch and shooter, Tyrese Maxey becoming a better catch and shooter right before our very eyes, and then you'll have a combination of George Niang and some other things. So that I saw something flirted out there, and I can't remember this doof's name on NBC Sports Philadelphia that I watched a clip of him on YouTube, said that the Sixers, he clearly has a bias against Tobias Harris. He said the Sixers should start George Niang over Tobias Harris because of what he's seen from Niang these last couple games.
Wow.
The idiocy.
Yeah.
I think.
I get what he's saying. I mean, Niang's been kind of more productive, but
more productive how? He scores, so he takes, okay, so
well, no,
he takes more three pointers.
I take that back. I don't think it's more productive. I think, and I haven't looked at the stats, maybe he's hit a couple more jumpers because he hit the threes he's taken, but at any given time he can be just like Tobias Harris. So it's just, that's just a small sample size. You can't say that Niang's better than Harris, and Niang's a liability on defense. And Tobias isn't. There's no way. There's no way you do that.
I couldn't believe. I'm just so tired of these fans piling on Tobias Harris, because the overreaction to every game he has, whether it's good or bad, has to stop. Like
this is exactly what I thought would happen, is that he would be he would kind of fall out of grace, just because what we're seeing. I mean, Harris kind of he needs that ball, and he kind of creates his own shot, a la Embiid or Harden, and so it's too many of them. But we got to switch the style up. Everybody's doing that, so Harris is going to have to do the same thing. But it's great to know that he can do that. He has that capability. So if Harden and Embiid both are on the bench, or if Harden's off and it's just Harris and Embiid or something like that, then now you're able to he can go to that. But during the game, he has to be able to do that catch and shoot that Harden is coaching to do. So I'm looking for that to go. And you mentioned a shooter. I don't know if we can get into the playoff rotation, but Joe.
Oh my God, yeah, Isaiah Joe, that's my guy, bro. I mean,
he has
love
a killer shot for real. So that's a shooter right there that I would love to see on the court.
Yeah, I always side with the side of the coaches. Like, I know a lot of guys like me and you and the rest of the world will get on Twitter and say, "Oh my God, we want to see more Isaiah Joe. We want to see B-ball Paul. We want to see Bassey." But you know what, man? Like, the Doc and these coaches see these guys every day in practice. There's got to be a reason. There's got to be a reason why we're going so hard for DeAndre Jordan. There's got to be a reason for some of these things. I can't just chalk it up to straight incompetence. Like, Doc Rivers just got voted a top 15 coach of all time, and the fans overreact when he doesn't make the right substitution or call the right timeout. And it's like, are you paying attention? Joel Embiid is playing the best basketball of his career because of Doc Rivers. That's not an accident that Doc got here, and now Joel Embiid is a MVP candidate, a real one this time.
How people are trying to call for Doc to be fired or anything right now is beyond me. They're talking about
they're idiots.
As soon as they got Harden, I heard the rumor about Brian Colangelo, and I'm like, what? Like how?
No, Mike. Yeah, I heard Mike D'Antoni. I heard all types of stuff, bro.
Oh, Mike D'Antoni.
Yeah, I've heard.
I'm like, come on, man. Yeah. Like how? Like Doc hasn't even got a chance to fail. Like that makes zero sense. And he's done nothing but, his resume is untouchable for the most part. He's like I said, top 15 coach of ever. Was it top 15 or top 10?
I thought it was 15. I think he ranked. I mean, I can look it up real quick. I don't know exactly.
Either way, he's a basketball elite, and you should respect his decisions. And at the same time, you question him. And right now, the biggest thing I'm seeing a lot of people are talking about is Isaiah Joe and the kind of the bastion of Harris or even Korkmaz. So they're like, let's see Joe over Korkmaz. Why is he getting more minutes? And I think it's the Paul Millsap thing. It's the veteran. It's the guy that you can kind of rely on to do a lot of other things, and you don't got to worry about them making like a bullheaded mistake or something. Yeah. But it would be nice for this is the time of the season where we should be playing with the lineups though, and considering giving these young guys bigger roles. And this is the time that they're testing those lineups right now.
There's 20 games left. We got a pretty good stretch of competitive games. After this next game, we have the Cavs, the Heat, and the Bulls. I would expect, because those are going to be playoff teams after the Knicks, I would expect some fooling around, some tinkering, different staggerings of minutes. I mean, at any point, we're going to have somebody awesome out on the court, whether it's Embiid and the others, or Harden and the others, or Maxey and the others, like we saw the other night. The one thing Doc has to stop doing is doing the all bench squad. He did that a little bit against the Knicks. I don't think he did it against the Timberwolves, but he did it against the Knicks. And I was like, ooh, no, don't do that. No all bench squad unless we're up by like 25, like late in the fourth. Like there's no need, just keep a combination of the two players, our two core players, or one of them, and stop doing that. That's an adjustment somebody's probably told him. They didn't rank the top 15 coaches. They just listed them. They didn't put them in any particular order. So he's on there. Steve Kerr, Doc Rivers, and Eric Spoelstra and Greg Popovich are the 4 of the 15 that are actively coaching. So that's a pretty good list there that they have. Anybody check it out. NBA 75 somehow put Carmelo Anthony and Damian Lillard on this list, and not Chris Bosh or Klay Thompson or Kyrie Irving or Dwight Howard. It's unbelievable. NBA 70. ESPN did that list too, I think. So that probably explains a lot, because ESPN's full of idiots now. All right, Ty, let's do this. Let's do this all tanked. I've been looking forward to this, man.
Me too.
I've been looking forward to this. Technically, you are the guest, so I will give you the first pick. Now,
what?
We are doing an all tank team draft because thankfully we tanked. This is why we're here now. We collected the assets of various moves and trades and things that we've done have led us to this point. So we are going to pay homage to the 2014 to 2017 Philadelphia 76ers, and we are going to draft a team from those rosters, our all tank team. Ty, you have the first pick, bro.
Man, this is tough. I didn't think I would have the first pick. I didn't think that was gonna happen. And I he's on my top. He's on the top of the board. I gotta just stick with what I thought earlier.
Yeah. I got a big board too. I'm glad you did one, because I did one too. I did. Yeah.
Nerlens Noel.
Oh yeah,
I got with the
first. Yeah,
first overall Nerlens as well. I got solidify the center position, and man, come on, man. And he was like one of the most productive, in terms of during those stretch of years. He started a lot of games. He played very well. I miss him to this day.
So during the tank, there was a lot of draft picks, a lot of young guys, and I forgot to hit your sound for your first pick. Good job with Nerlens Noel. So that's a good pick. So he was on my big board. I did 3 for each position on the big board. So we'll see how this goes. You took Nerlens Noel, which would have been my pick first.
Really?
I honestly thought you were going to go with a guard or something, and there was a specific guard I thought you were going to go for. But The rest of my team is probably going to be young, so I need veteran leadership. And what better veteran than the guy who has helped build this current Sixers team?
Wow.
Who came back to Philly in 2016. Wow. Elton Brand with the first pick.
He deserves a spot.
He deserves a spot.
Brand. Because of the current role and everything he's done, he means a lot to this team. So for sure. Elton Brand's a Sixer for life now.
Yep.
Awesome. I respect that. I'm glad he left my guy. Well, I got a lot of guys. They're all my guys, yo. I miss these guys, yo. I'm looking at the list like I miss these guys, man. Those are fun times because that's why Brett Brown, he gets a bad rep, or maybe he doesn't.
I love Brett Brown. I love Brett Brown.
He had these guys playing hard. These young guys, we were tanking. Obviously, we didn't have the best players, but they played hard and we had good coaching. It was fun to go to games, even though they were like $10 tickets. It was awesome. Yeah. I'm going Thaddeus Young.
Yeah, good.
Oh pick. Yeah, I'm down low. You ain't touch me right now. Down low, Nerlens and Thad. That's I miss those guys to this day. I'll take them today over Millsap, please.
Yeah. All right. So, man, I think I'm gonna match your big. I need a good power forward. I need to build Twin Towers, and I went old, so I'm gonna go young. I'm gonna go with Rashawn Holmes.
Wow. Okay.
I love Rashawn Holmes. I wish he would have stayed a little bit. There was a stretch of team there that I really enjoyed, but alas, we're no longer there.
All right, thank you. I thought never mind. I'm not gonna say it. You know what? I'm not gonna take him because he's big. I thought you were gonna take Jahlil Okafor. That's what I was.
Hell no. I hate Jahlil Okafor.
You didn't like him. You didn't.
There was another person I'm gonna take, and I actually probably might take, depending on your pick, I might take him at my small forward position. Even though he's technically a power forward, but he played some small forward here. But go ahead.
You might get him. I'll take Covington, so you might be able to get your guy.
Yeah, I knew you were going to do Covington. Yep.
I'm gonna take
I knew it. I knew. All right, so that leaves me with my small forward. Then I'm going to take the homie, Dario Saric, man. That's my guy.
That has to be the guy. I knew that was where you were going.
Be the guy. Yeah, I wanted. It was either going to be Covington or Saric because it had to be one of those two. So whatever one you didn't take, I was definitely going to take. So yeah, I had to shout. I love the homie. That 2018 Sixers team reminds me of the Lakers team that they traded away when LeBron got there, when they had like Brandon Ingram and Kuzma. Like we had Ben and Saric, the Feds, right? Like Markelle Fultz and Saric. Like I wish that team would have just had some years to develop. I feel like that could have been special. That could have been something nice. But yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely. We really had high hopes for those bones, man. Like
I know. Yeah. I don't even think Sarge just he's on the Suns now. He might, he might get a ring. So shout out to the homie.
We just wasn't, we were just playing better teams, man. We were really trying to make it work with a bunch of old players for real.
Yeah. Which speaks to Brett Brown. I know a lot of people didn't like him, but that speaks to Brett Brown.
Our whole starting five was basically bench players on anybody else's team.
100%.
So you went Dario. So I got two guards I got to get. Yeah. I got two guards. I'm going to start with, man. Okay. All right. I'm going to take TJ McConnell.
Damn. Oh, man. Yeah. No. Not McClutchell, man. Dang.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got my guy.
I thought you would took him early for some reason. I know you love TJ.
I took a chance with I was gonna go the center, then the point guard to snatch up McConnell, but then you went and took Thad, and I was like, "Fuck, man, I need another big." So, man, all right, now I'm really scared. All right, you know what? I'm gonna put this guy at shooting guard, and I'm gonna go with the Philadelphia 76ers Rookie of the Year, Michael Carter Williams.
Nice, I like it. I like it. So I gotta go Evan Turner.
Okay.
That's all that's left. That fits in the position and did very well. Very serviceable for us, man. I didn't hate him. I didn't hate him. There's times where I didn't love him, but I didn't hate him. I didn't hate Evan Turner.
So this is good for me because I wasn't thinking about Evan Turner at all. And so I'm going to shout out some guys before I make my final pick because Isaiah Cannon, shout out to you, Hollis Thompson, KJ McDaniels, Ish Smith, Jeremy
Smith.
Grant.
That's what you got. You got to say him over Isaiah Cannon.
Ish Smith. Oh no, yeah, my bad. Yeah, I should have said
right
I should have said Ish Smith first. Shout out to the god Henry Sims. We saw him at the hookah bar that one time we went in Philly, and he was tall, and I said, "Yo, you're Henry Sims," and he said, "Yeah." And we sat next to him and talked to him, and that was pretty cool. So shout out to Henry Sims. But with my final pick at point guard, I'm going with the Drew League god, Tony Wroten.
I like it.
Love Tony Wroten. So I got Tony Wroten. I have Michael Carter Williams. I have the homie Dario Saric at the 3. I have Rashawn Holmes, and I have Elton Brand. And then you have TJ McConnell. You have Evan Turner. You have Robert Covington, Thaddeus Young, and Nerlens Noel. I'm going to put this on socials. We're going to have the people vote. I think we both drafted. Man. Yeah, I'm going to put the polls up, and we're going to see who drafted the best team. I think both drafted pretty good teams. Somebody get on 2K and put them together and see what we got. All right, Ty, who gets your game ball this week?
Oh, it's easy. It's the Philadelphia Health Commissioner, Dr. Cheryl Bedegal. Okay. He lifted the vaccine mandates in Philadelphia, allowing your boy to finally go to a Sixers game. Shout out Dr. Cheryl Bedegal, Philadelphia Health Commissioner. Listen, I love you, woman. I love you.
Immaculate vibes for Dr. Cheryl. Thank you for lifting the vaccine.
I'll be seeing LaMelo Ball and the Hornets, the LaMelo Hornets. They play in the Sixers Saturday, April 2nd. They just signed. Who they signed? They signed Isaiah Thomas. I wonder if you.
Okay, yeah. I mean, Isaiah Thomas needs he needs a real chance. I don't know what's going on. Like, why teams don't? I feel like when he signed with the Lakers earlier, he did pretty good, and he did pretty good with the Nuggets. And no, the Nuggets I understand they needed a big because their backup big had went down, so they chose Boogie Cousins. I get that one. The Lakers though, I don't know. Like they got rid of him. And then they ended up getting rid of DeAndre Jordan to sign a guard when they had one in Isaiah Thomas. And they end up with DJ Augustine. Like, no disrespect to DJ Augustine, but they got to rather have Isaiah Thomas. My game ball is definitely going to go to the guy who started this whole thing. And that's Sam Hinkie. You deserve a game ball, sir. Thank you. Thank you for having the balls to tell the world that, hey, we have to tank. That's the only way we're going to get good. He accumulated all the assets and all the trades and all that we took a bunch of detours and we took a bunch of shortcuts and we had to go around and change course and do things. But it all started with you, sir. And thanks to you, we have 2 top 5 players in the NBA. I don't care what anybody. James Harden's a top 5 player now because he's on the Sixers. And he's at least a top 10. And I don't think there's many teams that can say they have 2 top 10 players, at least in the East anyway. The West might be able to say that, but the only one that comes to mind is probably Phoenix right now. But Chris Paul's hurt. But anyway, that still stands. Thank you. This seems like our time. Hopefully the Sixers can keep this momentum going. And yeah, so Ty, man, really appreciate you stepping in for Bert. This Sixers edition, I'm really, really happy with how everything's going with the team. Hopefully we can keep this shit going. You got any last words to say?
Not at all, man. Peace and Black Power. That's all.
Yes. Love each other. Take care of each other. Don't be dicks to each other. All right. Just be nice. Say hi. Hold open doors. All that good stuff. Find us at Stuff About Sports on Instagram. We're growing that thing every day, and I'm really happy with all the Mike Zimmer's nephew cursed me out today, and I told him that his dad sucks. And he said, "It's not my dad, it's my uncle." And I said, "All right, my bad, bro. Your uncle sucks." So shout out to Mike Zimmer.